Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be building a proxy Node.js server with rate limiting and caching capability. So this will be a very advanced tutorial if you want to build your own API and with the client side also. So you will see we are calling this API which is making a simple request to catch the weather of any city in the world. So it is displaying the temperature in Celsius here, and this will be a simple tutorial here how to build this advanced API with this rate limiting and caching support. Rate limiting is nothing but it is just putting a restriction on how many API calls that you can make per hour or per minute. And caching, as you all know, that if you make any sort of HTTP request, it will store the response inside your browser, and it will store it and it will just serve to you. The cache, it will be stored as a cache. So the it will speed up your process. So I will be showing you this. So this is the live demo of the application. So you will see it is when we load the page, it is displaying weather in Delhi 12 degrees Celsius. So here you can just enter any city of the world. You can see Boston. If I enter here, click weather in Boston is 4 degrees Celsius. If I enter here any city in the world, Durban, you will see 20 degrees Celsius. And if I enter here Sydney, you will see 23 degrees Celsius. So if I basically enter a wrong city name, let's suppose this city doesn't exist. So you will see this will give me an error here in the console that cannot read properties of undefined reading temperature. So it doesn't read that. And basically you will see this is we are calling a simple API, which is you can see open weather API. So this is the API that we are using here, open weather map API. So it's a very famous API. If you want to build any sort of weather application, you just need to create a simple account. I have already done that. So after creating your account, you can get your API key. Simply go to my API key section and simply you can generate the new API key also, or you can just copy this API key. So just make your own account and just use your own API key. Don't use my. And now I will be showing you how to build this application from scratch. If you want to get all the source code regarding this tutorial, you can go to the video description link where I have explained step-by-step instruction on how to do this. So just follow the blog post alongside with the video also to get all the source code. So at the end of the video, we will also be deploying this application to Heroku, and then I will be giving the link in the video description to Heroku. Is a great platform to test out Node.js applications. So Heroku.com. So simply create your own account and you can also deploy applications there. So now to get started, guys, I will be using a tool called as Postman. So Postman is a very handy tool if you want to debug Node.js APIs. Simply just write here Postman and you can download Postman for free. It is available. So simply download their desktop version exe file if you're on Windows. So it's a very good tool. Let me just show you the rate limiting feature that I had implemented on this API. So basically if I go to my server side code, if I change this maximum request to only 5, so I can only perform 5 requests in 10 minutes. So I have set this rate limiting feature inside this Node.js API where we are calling this. So if I refresh this application and once again if I refresh it for the second time, third time, and now you will see this alert box will come here, too many requests, please slow down, and it will restrict us, it will not let us do our request here. If I once again go to that feature, localhost 5000, too many requests, please try again later. So this is the application, guys. So you can see if I once again run the application, you will see now we are making the request. Once again, if I make a request, Melbourne, I make this, you will see Christchurch, you will see. So you can now see too many requests, please slow down. So basically this is a rate limiting feature. So it's very much useful in those situations whenever you want to just restrict user from just spamming your API or just slowing down the website. So it's a very good feature. I will be showing you a module that I used in Express API to do this feature. And also inside Postman also, if I restart the server here and once again restart it, you can also see inside this message also, if you open a new console here, just type the address localhost 5000 slash get weather, and we are requesting the weather of London city. So you will see if I send this request, get request, the data will come, and inside the header section you will see your maximum rate limit is 5 here, and the remaining is 4. So basically if I send it for the second time, remaining will be 3, again 2, 1, and once again if I send this, now this will be 0. And if I send it for the next time, too many requests, please try later. So I have set this time here, which is about 10 minutes. So you need to wait about 10 minutes before you make any sort of next request. So this is a very good feature where you can implement rate limiting, and I will also be showing you the catching process also when we build the application. So now to build this application, guys, I will just stop the server which is running, and I will also close this. And now I will move to my directory, which is desktop directory, the projects directory, and I will open CMD here and make a directory here, Node API Advanced, and I will cd into this directory, Node API Advanced. And I will open this directory inside Visual Studio Code text editor. You can use any text editor of your choice, and you can see now we will implement npm init -y. So you will see this will create the package.json file for us. So now what we want to do is that we need to install Express dependency, which will be the actual server for our application. So it will install this dependency for us, and after installing it, we will need to create index.js file, which is the starting point, the application. So now it has successfully installed it. So basically if you just see here inside our dependency section here, oh sorry, this is package.json, you can see Express dependency is installed here. This is second. So now we simply need to make a simple Express server. So we need to require it. So require it Express. We need to create a simple Express app. This process you all know if you are watching my videos. We will be starting this at a particular port number. So we can say console log that app is listening on this port number, which is say port. We can insert the dynamic port number, which is this. So we can create a port variable here, which is process.env.port. If the port is not available, then run this at 5000. And after that, we can just make a simple get request. So when we load the home page, we need to show something to the user. So we can see request response. So response.send file, there is a method here. And here we can say dir name, and we can now say index.html. That's it. So now we need to create the file here in the root directory index.html, and simply create a boilerplate code here inside HTML. So now to launch this application, I will highly recommend that you install a dependency, which is NodeMon, which will automatically restart your server when you make any sort of changes. So now to install this dependency, it is very simple, npm i-g for globally and NodeMon. So install this, I've already installed it. And now you need to go to your package.json file and write some start script. Inside script section, just make start, and inside this you will say node index.js, put a comma, and then you need to put here dev script, which will be simply nodemon index.js. That's it. Now we will be running this dev script npm run dev. So you will see it will start our server on port 5000. So you will see now what we want to do is that localhost 5000. So now our site is running here. So now basically guys, first of all, we will be building the front end application, which will be very simple, weather app in Node.js. with rate limiting and catching. So all that stuff you can say rate limiting and catching. Either of either you can build the back end first or you can build the front end first. I will be building the front end. So for making the front end, we will be using a bootstrap. As you all know, bootstrap CDN. Simply search this and go to w3schools.com, and we only need the CSS part. So simply you need to grab this portion. After the title, you need to paste it. Just after the title, paste it here. And now we will be having the container class of bootstrap, and then we will be having a simple heading that weather app. That's it. And then we will have a simple input field. We will be giving a form here, which is we will be giving a form and ID form here. That's it. And then we will be having a simple input field form group container also. And then inside this we will have an input field. We will be attaching a form container class to it, and input type text will be, and this should be required field. The user need to be entering the city name. Enter city name. That's it. And after that we will be having a simple button to submit the form. So we will be attaching some classes: button danger, button block, and simply we will say get current weather. So this will be a red color button which will be there, and we can also attach container class of bootstrap. That's it. So now if I open this application at the localhost 5000, you will see this is a weather app, and I think we have made a mistake here. This needs to be form control and container, and there should be a space here. So whenever you refresh it, you will see now our front end is almost complete. We just need to make a slight modification. So just put a break tag here, and after that some space also here, like this. So just refresh it. Now you will see this is our weather app, guys. We will put a city name here. So now we need to make simple. We need to include jQuery also. So just move to jQuery and get started. And simply what you need to do, grab the CDN of jQuery. After the body, paste it. Now we will simply make. We will not be using jQuery. We will just be using the vanilla JavaScript. So first of all, we will get the form reference document.get element by ID. We will get the reference of form here, which we have given the ID to the form here, which is form. And then we will say form.add event listener submit. So when the form submits, this event will automatically fire and this e object will be there. So we will call e.prevent default, which will prevent the auto submission of the form. Now we will get the city name. So city, so document dot get element by ID city. So we need to also attach a ID name to here, ID city. So this will fetch the city here, city. So whatever city user entered here, so we can say let city. Sorry, this needs to be. We can declare a variable here, which is city name. City name we can say city dot value. So after getting the value which the user has entered, we need to make a simple get request to our proxy server, which in this case will be this server. So proxy server, and here we can make use of fetch, and here we can say slash get weather, and here we can pass our question mark q is equal to, and then we can concatenate the city name. That's it. So if you follow the blog post, some code will be different because I am coding it live. So I will not be coding it the way that I have mentioned in the blog post. So the code meaning will be similar. So you will see now we are simply using the fetch here. You can see we are using the fetch API. We are passing this as a function. So let me copy this here. Fetch, we are calling it as a, let me create a function here. So get weather, and we can pass a city name which is Delhi. So when we load the page, we will be requesting the weather for city the Delhi. So we can create this function which is a this weather, sorry, get weather. So this will be a async function. Async function. You can just read the blog post step by step. So we have passed the city here, which is city name. So inside this, what we are doing is that we are making our URL. So inside the URL slash get weather. So we will make this request here inside our server, proxy server. So then we will question mark is equal to q is equal to, then we will concatenate the city name. That's it. So after preparing the URL, what we need to do is that we need to fetch it. So we can say const res and then await fetch, and then we will pass the URL. That's it. So then we can console log the response which we are getting. And now at this moment of time, what we need to do is that we need to go to the server side and make this request. So we can call this get weather for the city Delhi. So now we will not be writing some code here inside client side. We will move to the server side. And inside this, what we need to do is that first of all, we need to get the API key of the site here. So go to this open weather API, and if you haven't created an account, just create your own account. And simply you need to copy the API key. Simply copy this, and now I will be showing you the way. So hiding your API key. So this is a very important concept. So now we will be using a dependency. Go to your command line and install .env. So this is a module by which we will be storing the API key inside environment variables. We will not be exposing them to the general public so that they can steal this. So just create a env file, .env file inside the root directory. And here we will paste here API base URL, API base key, and API key value. So these three values we will store it here. So the base URL will be simpler, whatever we are having this. So simply paste the base URL here. This is a base URL. So simply you need to copy this value. Simply copy this value here. This is a base URL. Inside double quotes, paste this value. This will be app ID. This will be constant for you also. So simply plug this app ID, and then this will be your own API key. So just copy your own API key and paste it. So simply copy this and paste it here. That's it. And now to get these three values inside index.js, we need to simply require .env .config. That's it. After doing that, what we can do is that we can simply require them console log. We can say here process.env process.env dot and then your variable name, that it API base URL. That's it. So basically if you refresh it, you will see if I run the application, you will see process is not defined. Sorry, this needs to be process. So you will see now it will print out this base URL which we have mentioned inside .env. So this is a very good recommended practice if you are deploying this application to production. you should definitely store all these things which are important to you inside a separate .env file, which you will not be deploying to the actual server. So after doing this, guys, we will be making the request here, which will be simply slash get weather. So simply you need to make a simple get request slash get weather. This will be a simply be acting as a proxy server. So request response. So here, in order to make the request here, we will be using a another module inside Node.js, which will be a HTTP client. So this will be simply Needle. So Needle is a very famous HTTP client library for Node.js in order to make HTTP request. So just install this. And now to make a simple get request in this, if you follow the blog post here, if you go to the video description link I have shown you, so at the top you will see here, we have mentioned here get weather. So basically you need to surround all this code inside your try catch block here. So if any sort of error take place, you can able to print out the error, console log error. So make sure that you surround all this code inside a try catch block. And after that, we can get the parameters which we pass here. Simply refer the blog post and simply I will paste it. So this is we are using URL search params, and for this we are using a URL module here, which is a built-in module. So just bring the URL module also here, require it. So basically if you console log in this params, and basically if I use the Postman tool here, if I send this request here, you will see in the console it is saying API base key is not defined. So if I check the .env file, sorry, this needs to be API base URL. So you will see API base URL. And once again, if you send this request, so it is saying API base URL is not defined. I think we have made a mistake here. We need to pass this value. This is API base key. Sorry, API base key. API base key. Sorry. This value we need to pass here because app ID will be equal to this API key. So once again, if you send the request here, you will see in the console API base key. Sorry guys, let me just see what is the problem here. So if you just change this variable names, that will be good here because I have used this in my blog post. So sometimes it can create a confusion. So simply you need to paste this from my blog post. So here you need to copy paste your API key. Simply copy this and paste it. Paste your API key and now go to the blog post and now simply paste this code. Sometimes it can create a confusion that whatever variable names that you have used there, it can create confusion. So simply paste it now here, paste it. And now hopefully it will work. It is saying API base key is not defined. So sorry, we also need to get this, all this. So we need to declare it at the top here. So const API base key. So this will be equal to processed dot env dot this API base key. So first of all, we need to get these variables. So that is why it was showing it was not defined. That cert API base key. So this will be equal to process dot env dot API base key. That's it. Sorry, API base value. API key value. So now you can see now hopefully it will work. If I click send, you will see now this will print the URL search parameters app ID is equal to this, which is a API key, and this Q is equal to London. So if we are printing both the parameters which we have passed here, but inside this request you will see we are hiding the API key. We are not showing the API key to the user. So as a general practice, if you don't follow this approach, you will pass the API key in the URL itself. So this is not a good practice. So I've shown you the great practice. So follow this approach whenever you are deploying for the production level. So now what we can do is that we can simply make the GET request using needle. So simply what we need to do is that if you go to the blog post, you will see we will pass this API response, and we will await this because this is a async function. So needle require us to be this function to be async. So this will be a GET request, and then we are passing the API base URL alongside with the parameters. You can see. And now what we can do, we can say console log API res, and then we can also send response.send API res. That's it. So if you make a request here, now you will see it will send out this response. It is saying needle is not defined, so we need to bring this dependency. So require needle like this. So again refresh it. So it is saying API base URL is not defined. So we also need to get this thing also. API base URL process.env, which is API base URL. That's it. So once again, if you refresh it, you will see. Now you will see inside this. If I console log this, if I hit this request here, which is send this request. So now you will see it will just return all this information to us. You can see coordinates are returned to us: longitude, latitude, weather object, base, main, temperature, all that stuff. Now we simply need to extract the weather portion here and display to the user. And for doing this, it is very simple. If you go to the video description link, we only need the body portion. So we can say here API response body. That's it. And then we can say, we can paste this, or we can also say response.json, response.status by 200, and then JSON. And here we can put a data property, and data will be equal to API response dot body. That's it. So now inside the client side, basically if you refresh the application, if you try to enter a city name, so we are passing the city name as Delhi when we load the page for the very first time. So you can see we are calling this get weather function here. So we can just say console log If you refresh it, if you enter a city name, click get, you can see the response is coming back to us. You will see 200 status is coming back. You can see status is okay. This is the headers portion here. This is a body. And the promise is pending here. So we need to just convert this. Basically, this is a promise-based API. So we need to get this response.json. That's it. And now we need to print this data like this. If you refresh it, if you enter a city name, and now you will see the data will be returned to us. Data, which is the coordinates, which is this is a temperature, which is pressure, temperature, all that stuff is returned to us. This is a city name, which is Delhi. So now we simply need to print this data on the screen. So what we need to do is that you can go to my blog post where I explain step by step here. So what you can do is that you can just copy paste this file here. So I will not be writing all the HTML code. I just wanted to show you the server-side code where I implemented this rate limiting feature and the catching feature. I will implement it just right now, all these two features. So just this application is complete here. So now you will see we are loading the Delhi here, 12 degrees Celsius. You can search for any other position you will see. So this thing is not important. We are just calling the API and displaying the result here. And here we are using fetch API. And then we are checking for the status value. If it is found to be 404, then we will say city not found. So basically, if you enter an invalid city, you will say this cannot read properties on undefined temperature. After that, we are adding this. We are converting the Kelvin to Fahrenheit, and then we are converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. So these are the conversions which are taking place. So this is not important. Coming back to the subject here, we need to implement the rate limiting feature. So basically now, if I use the Postman feature here, and now if I check the header position here, I can send out multiple requests here. So this is, if I send now, you will see the JSON response is coming back. And basically, if I check here, the header position here, so rate limiting feature is not there. You can send out multiple requests, and this will also crash your server also. So now to implement the rate limiting feature, it is very easy. Simply go to the command prompt, and there is a dependency which is express dash rate limit. Express dash rate dash limit. So you need to install this dependency express dot rate dash limit. After installing it, go to the command server side code, make rate limit, and we need to require it. Express rate limit dot default. That's it. So inside this, after you initialize your app, simply you need to say, we need to say let rate, you need to create a new function variable here, limiter, and inside this you just need to call this function rate limit, and this will contain a series of options here where you can pass some options here. So if you follow the blog post, you will see this is the configuring section of rate limiting. So this, the first option is window ms. So this allows the maximum amount of time that you want the user to wait until they make a new request. So basically I will be having 10 minutes, which will be 10 multiplied by 60 multiplied by 1000. So this will be the value in millisecond. So this is approximately equal to 10 minutes. And then the second option is amount of requests you want to make. So max option is this. How many requests you want to make inside 10 minutes. So I will put here 5 so that I can show you. After doing this, simply you need to say app.use limiter. That's it. So now this will use this middleware function which where we have successfully implemented rate limit. And now if I check the Postman here, you will see now inside header position. So now we need to load the application. So now you will see this is the rate limit section is here. Custom header is inserted here. So we have made a request here. So 4 requests are remaining. If I another make a request 3, 2, 1, and now 0. And now if I check the response, you will see too many requests. Please try again later. So this is a rate limiting middleware function we have successfully added. And in the application itself also, if you load the page here, you will see too many requests. Please try again later. So this is the middleware function we have implemented. Now I will implement the catching middleware, which is very much useful. So there is a module here which we need to implement, which is API catch. I think this is a module name. If you check in the blog post, API catch. So this is a module. Simply install this module also. After installing it, you need to require it. So simply at the top, you need to require it. After that, you need to create a variable here, which is this API catch.middleware. And now simply what you need to do is that you need to pass this middleware function whenever you are making the GET request. So here we are making the GET request to the API. Simply you need to pass it as a second parameter. Put like this here. And inside this you can pass any sort of minutes here. So here we are passing 2 minutes. So simply it will catch the response data for 2 minutes inside the client side machine. So now once again, if you load the application, so now if you check the Postman here, if I once again send this request, so now the very first time this request will be made and the data will be fetched. Now if you check the header position, if I make the request for the second time, it will fetch the data from the catching here. So now you will see that this request has not been made. The data is fetched from the catching here. So you will see. So you can see, I think we have made a mistake. Let catch is equal to, this needs to be 2 minutes. So simply paste this value here. API catch. So this is a catching middleware, guys. So now we also need to install CORS here, CORS module, so that we can make Crocs origin request npm i CORS. So install this also. So include this also. Require it. And after that, app.use CORS. That's it. And also we need to make this. So now the application is almost complete here. So if you just see here, if I increase the request here to 100 requests per 10 minutes. So now you can make any sort of request here. So now we will deploy this application to Heroku. So this is very simple. You need to install Heroku CLI, which is very much useful whenever you need to, just deploy applications. So just install for the Windows, Mac, or Ubuntu, depending upon your operating system. I've already installed it. So basically, before deploying it, you need to make sure that you create the gitignore file, .gitignore, and you don't want to deploy .env file and node modules folder. So write this, and after that, simply say Heroku init, Heroku login to log in inside your machine. So just press a key here. So now Heroku will log in. So simply log in. So just enter your username, password, and email address. So close this window. So now you are successfully logged in here. And now we will create an app here, Heroku, create, and then sample. Just create a, just give a app name, sample weather app. So it is already taken. So we will say sample weather app 123. So now it will create this app here. So now this is, your app is live here. So if I open this, my dashboard, so you will see, if you search for your app here, sample weather app 123. So now you can see the app is created. If I open this now app right now, this will be the welcome page will be shown to me. Now we simply need to push this data here. So there will be two more commands that you need to write. We need to first of all initialize the Git repository, git init, git add, git commit -m. So I have given all these commands in the video description. So if you don't know these commands, just refer the blog post. So after that, just you need to copy paste your, just select your sample weather app, and for the deployment, simply click deploy. And here you need to copy paste this address here. Simply, this will be different for you, and simply paste it here. And then what we need to do is that now we simply need to Heroku. And the last command, if you refer the blog post, you will find all these commands here. Git Heroku push master. Git Heroku push master. I think this is a command here. Heroku is a git command. See, Heroku push master. So now it is pushing it. I think it has, sorry, this is a command. I need to git push Heroku master. So I think why it is not. So git push Heroku master. So sorry, git push Heroku master. So this is a command. So now it will deploy this application to Heroku. So I will also make changes inside my, so push needs to be there. So I can edit this blog post here. So you guys don't face this same problem. So let me edit this live here. So git push Heroku master. So I will update this blog post. So now you will see my app is successfully deployed. So if I refresh the page, you will see now my app is live here. I have also given the link in the video description. So now you will see the weather, this this app is not working because the environment variables are not successfully pushed. So because we are storing these here only .env file, so we are not pushing this .env file inside to the Heroku. So there is a way by which you can do this. It is very simple in Heroku. Simply go to the app here and go to the settings here. Simply go to the settings, and here you will find the config variables. So simply click this button, reveal config variables, and here you need to add the key value pair. So simply you need to add your environment variables. Simply add this API base URL, paste it, and this will be equal to this value. Simply copy this, add. The next value will be API base key. This will be app ID. Simply add this. And now we have the third one, which is the actual API key. Simply copy this and paste it. So this is a way by which you can add environment variables inside Heroku. So simply add this. And now you need to give some time for Heroku to make these changes. So simply just wait 3 minutes if the app is not working up to the mark, and then refresh it. Hopefully the changes will take its own course. You need to wait 2-3 minutes for this to work. So you will see it is successfully, it is saying that internal error, message internal error. So make sure you just need to restart our app if you find any sort of error facing. You can also view logs here. That's it. You can say, so data is returned to us. Sometimes it will take some time for that to occur. So no need to worry. You need to just give some time, 2-3 minutes, and then you should refresh the page, and definitely it will work. And just wait for 2-3 more minutes. It should work. So it is here showing 200 response.status, but here it is not showing the data. So it is just the thing. You need to wait some time for this to work here, guys. So this was the video. I think you should like this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video.